Hello students, welcome to Recitals in-Depth by Vajiram Ravi for the month of May 2024. In this video, we will be discussing about world mapping. The mapping is a unique exercise. We discuss about a geographical location which appeared in current event for any particular reason. Hello students, welcome to Recitals in-Depth by Vajiram Ravi. In this, we will be discussing about world mapping for the month of May 2024. The first geographical location we will be discussing is Ghana and Ivory Coast. The Ghana and Ivory Coast came in the news due to rise in cocoa prices, which you will be able to see in page 44 of Recitals 2024. Right? Both the countries will go one after the other. Common features first, Ghana and Ivory Coast, or also called as Cote d'Ivoire. This is because they have been French colony for a period of time, long period of time, and the name has been written in French, or Ivory Coast, right? They are just slightly north of equator region with high temperature and high rainfall. The rainfall is around 200 centimeter to 300 centimeter. Due to high temperature and high rainfall, it is very conducive for plantation crops. And two important plantation crops includes one, oil palm, or when we use it called as palm oil palm is the tree name, right? And another one is cocoa, right? Within them, we'll go country by country now. Hope it is copied, right? In case of Ghana, the most important geographical feature is Lake Volta, largest human-made lake in the world. Largest human-made lake in the world. See, a couple of years before, there has been a preliminary question which asks, the question goes as, which of the following has been dried in the recent times? And one of the options given was Lake Volta. See, largest human-made lake in the world. If it dries, everyone will know, right? And possibility of drying might also be less, right? So this is with respect to Ghana. And apart from that, important economic activity includes gold and oil for Ghana. Moving to Ivory Coast or Cote d'Ivoire, right? Largest cocoa producer in the world. Largest cocoa producer in the world. See, both the countries contribute to around 60% of cocoa production in the world, but they don't have the chocolate industry. So, cocoa acts as a raw material for chocolate industry. These cocos are produced here, exported as a raw material to the western part of Europe or North American countries where high chocolate industries there present, and produce there and then again distribute towards the world. Right? Moving further, the next geographical location is Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC. Has been in news for blood minerals. Even the president of Democratic Republic of Congo told that if you have been using a mobile phone, if you are using an electronic device, our blood is in it. These kinds of statements have been put across. That is why it has been in news. Going to Congo, Congo has been in prelim couple of times. One, they asked about which country has large amount of cobalt in the world. More than 75%, Congo has it. One. Second, the question has asked about Congo basin and given certain number of countries and asked which of the countries are not possibly or possibly in Congo basin. It's a kind of question that has been asked, right? So moving further into Congo in terms of its economic and geographical features. Starting with the geographical features, the most important thing, Congo River flows through it. It has its, in UPSC, when it comes to world mapping, the UPSC asks world rivers, but they don't ask, they have never asked in the past about their source or origin, but they have asked about their mouth. So going by the same, the mouth of Congo River is Atlantic Ocean. The other kind of questions, whether it is a landlocked country or the country has a coast, Congo has access to the coast. Congo has access to Atlantic Ocean again, right? Congo River, mouth is Atlantic Ocean. The country Congo has access to Atlantic Ocean, right? Moving further, copied. With respect to the cobalt and many minerals that is being mined from it, Congo is considered to be one of the potential, in terms of potential, it is one of the potentially richest country. It has a potential to be rich country, but has been affected with large amount of democratic crisis with respect to mining of mineral resources and all the other issues will be there. Potentially rich country, and we do have large amount of still hand mining taking place. There's a large amount of child involved in illegal mining, and this is one of the reasons that has been called as blood minerals, right? Coming to Congo, in terms of geography, Democratic Republic of Congo shares border with 9 countries. You'll be able to see it with respect to Republic of Congo, Central African Republic, South Sudan 3, Uganda 4, Rwanda 5, Burundi 6, Tanzania 7, Zambia 8 and Angola 9. They share border with respect to 9 countries, which is quite large. Access to Atlantic Ocean we have already seen, and we also spoke about the geographical resources. Hope the 9 countries are copied. They have copper, cobalt. Moving further, apart from this, they also have one of the most important geographical feature called as Congo Basin. The Congo Basin is a low-lying region. Congo Basin is a low-lying region which is bowl-shaped, largely present in Congo. Congo is in DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo, largely present in Democratic Republic of Congo. Hope copied, right? Moving to the next geographical location, which has been in news because one of the person who has been employed, Indian, who has been employed with respect to United Nations Department of Safety and Security, has been killed in the attack that has been taken place in the Gaza regions, which brought in the news of 2 places, geographical places. One is Sinai Peninsula, another one is Rafah. See, with respect to Sinai Peninsula is part of Egypt, and it is a land boundary that connects with respect to Africa and Asia. So Sinai Peninsula, part of Egypt, land boundary connects Asia and Africa. Land boundary connects Asia and Africa. Sinai Peninsula is highly rich in crude oil resources, and the region is being surrounded by 2 Gulf regions. One is called as Gulf of Suez, another one is Gulf of Aqaba. If you have a map, if you have an atlas, if you take it, it will be very narrow to put it across. So we do have the image as well, Gulf of Suez and Gulf of Aqaba. And after this, you will be able to see Red Sea, and here you do have Mediterranean Sea. Right, hope copied. Moving to the next geographical location, it's a continuation of the same topic, which is Gaza Strip and Rafah. Right, Gaza Strip is a 41 kilometer stretch of Palestine territory. Gaza Strip, what is given in yellow part, and within the yellow part, the brown shades indicate the 41 kilometer Palestine territory along the coast of Mediterranean Sea. On the other side, it has been surrounded by Israel and Egypt. South it will be Egypt, and east it will be Israel. On the west we do have the Mediterranean Sea, right? And within this, the air strip of Gaza and the territorial waters of Gaza is being administered by Israel. So it is not easy for the Palestinians to move with respect to it, because the entire airstrip and also the territorial waters is administered by Israel. This put this location in the news for multiple reasons. One, which put across, it has been told the people to move towards Rafah. So people moved on to the regions. More importantly, we have a crossing there from the geographical point of view. Rafah crossing. The other two crossings are administered by Israel. This is the only crossing which is administered by Egypt, which is present in the border Sinai Peninsula of Egypt and Palestine region. The southern part is Egypt, so it adjoins with respect to the Egypt regions, number one. Number two, it is the only possible route, the Rafah crossing, for humanitarian aid reaching Gaza. The only possible route for humanitarian aid to reach Gaza from Egypt's Sinai Peninsula. Moving to the next geographical topic, this is on Malaysia's orangutan diplomacy. Right? Orangutan is an ape which has a large share of DNA similar to that of human beings, and the animal orangutan has been present with respect to Indonesian, Malaysian rainforest ecosystems, which has been largely been threatened because of deforestation and palm oil plantations. That came in news because of the Malaysia's orangutan diplomacy. One, right? And if you look into Malaysia, the geographical region of Malaysia is distinguishedly present in two parts. One, we call this part as Peninsular Malaysia, which shares border with Thailand and which shares border with Singapore. So Malaysia shares border with Thailand, Singapore, and one another part, this pink shade, this purple shade again given in Bornean Island, is Bornean part of Malaysia, which shares border with Brunei and Indonesia. So Malaysia shares border with 4 countries, right? Thailand, Singapore, Brunei and Indonesia. Brunei and Indonesia. Done. And which has been in most geographically and geopolitically important locations in the contemporary world, in South China Sea, where Strait of Malacca is also been present. So to add on to layer, the region where we have been drawing the blue lines will be the areas of Strait of Malacca, South China Sea, Strait of Malacca and South China Sea. Malaysia is known for oil reserves, crude oil. Malaysia is known for palm oil production. possibly the second largest producer. Indonesia is the largest producer of palm oil in the entire world, where Malaysia is the second largest producer of palm oil in the world. For this palm oil production, there is a high amount of deforestation, conversion of rainforest to palm oil fields, which degrades the forest ecosystem. Deforestation takes place, greenhouse gas emissions takes place, also the biodiversity is highly affected. See, orangutan is not the only biodiversity that has been killed in this entire process of ecological threats, but it's a keystone species. So to indicate a large biodiversity loss, orangutan is taken and discussed with respect to it. There is also round table on sustainable palm oil production, where RSPO, round table on sustainable, yes, palm oil PO, right, palm oil productions. RSPO speaks about, it's not against the palm oil productions. It has been suggesting and advocating palm oil in sustainable manner, not from rainforest regions. Moving to the next geographical location, which is Chabahar port in Iran. It has been came in news for two reasons. One is Iranian president, and second is India-Iran signed the 10-year contract for Chabahar port operations, which is the largest news, right? And with respect to 10-year contract, this started way back with respect to in 2003, where India and Iran started speaking about operations in Chabahar port as a response to China and Pakistan creating Gwadar port in 2002 time period. But it started materialized in 2015 and we started initial operations in 2016. But because of US sanctions, it did not go far with respect to it. And we do have Chabahar port, this locations. With respect to the geographical points of Chabahar port, Chabahar in Persian means 4 springs. It's a deep water ocean port. Chabahar means 4 springs, deep water ocean port, located in Makran coast. It is located in the Makran coast. The coast line we call it as Makran coast, which will be present in Pakistan and Iran regions. Right? Hope copied. Right? The Chabahar port is very closer towards Gulf of Oman and Strait of Hormuz, Gulf of Oman and Strait of Hormuz. This has high potential to link West Asia to Europe and Asia. Whereas India's, this is much closer. Even months before, the Honorable Union Minister for Transport has said that Kandla to Chabahar is much closer than between Delhi and Mumbai regions. So you have a much closer geographical proximity between Kandla to Chabahar or Mumbai to Chabahar, Gujarat, Maharashtra, much closer. So from India you can reach Iran. From Iran you can go to Central Asia, Asia and European regions. This acts as a gateway. So it is also called as Golden Gateway. Chabahar port is also called as the Golden Gate to the landlocked countries. Golden Gate to the landlocked countries. And India's role in Chabahar port is seen as a response to China's string of pearls. Moving to the next one. Right. On continuation to Chabahar port operations, we do have this Chabahar port is also a possible way for INSTC route. See, in the image you will be able to see Mumbai, Kandla. You can reach the Chabahar. From there, Bandar Abbas, which is one of the most important port in existence, and large trade happens from Iran. From there, you will be able to move towards Tehran regions. After that, Azerbaijan through Caspian Sea. then Russia and reach Moscow. The actual route which is existing is through Mumbai, through moving towards the Gulf of Aden, then with respect to Bab el-Mandeb, Red Sea, Gulf of Suez, Suez Canal, Mediterranean Sea, Strait of Gibraltar, then entering into Atlantic Ocean, channeling through the English Channel, then again moving towards the Baltic Sea and Gulf of Bothnia regions and reaching Moscow. This purple line shows the standard route which is existing. The proposed route in the map has been shown through red color lines. I'll leave it for you to see for a moment. Right? The existing standard route is through ship for a longer place, and after that it goes through the land route. Whereas the INSTC is multimodal transport of ship, road and railways. Multimodal transport, INSTC, International North-South Transport Corridor, is a multimodal transport road rail network of 7,200 kilometers starting from India, moving towards Iran, right, and Azerbaijan, Russia, and we also have access to Central Asia and Europe. So the larger route starts from India to Iran, Azerbaijan, Central Asia, Russia and Europe regions. See, we already have seen the actual standard route and the proposed possible route. There has been some studies which states that through the new route you can save 15 days in movement in terms of transportations when compared to the Suez Canal route. And this one is much more easily accessible through Mumbai. It not only creates economic relationship, it creates the economic relationship with India and with the other countries. It creates the international north-south transport corridor to bypass the security challenges we have with respect to Pakistan for materials, goods and services to Afghanistan regions or Central Asian regions. It also creates a sense of international cooperation between Asia, Central Asia and with respect to European regions. Moving further, moving to the next geographical location, Catatumbo lightning. The Catatumbo lightning we will be discussing in geography video, right? In case of Catatumbo river, the river Catatumbo is being present in Venezuela and Colombian regions. The river Catatumbo is present with respect to Venezuela and Colombian regions. The mouth of the river is Lake Maracaibo. The mouth of the lake is Maracaibo. The river region is known for cocoa production. We already have seen Ghana and Ivory Coast in terms of cocoa production. This is an added regions. The other important areas where cocoa production takes place, high temperature, high rainfall, more suitable environment for cocoa production. Right? Moving further with respect to Lake Maracaibo. Lake Maracaibo is there have been two ways to look into Lake Maracaibo, two theories put across, right, or two possible explanations for Lake Maracaibo. One, which is actually seen, the southern part of Lake Maracaibo is fresh, the northern part of Lake Maracaibo is saline. That is because not just Catatumbo river, the other rivers also has mouth in Lake Maracaibo. So there is a huge flow of water into the river. So freshwater source has been there. Right? Some also believe this Lake Maracaibo is the largest lake in South America. But to another view, which is also true, it's an inlet of Atlantic Ocean. So the water enters from the Atlantic Ocean or Gulf of Venezuela through high tides. So seawater enters into the region. So that is the reason why you see southern part with fresh water and the northern part with respect to saline water. This is the geography of the regions, right? South, fresh water due to river flow. North, inlet of Atlantic Ocean. So the water is saline. One another thing, the region is also rich in petroleum reserves. Region is also rich with respect to petroleum reserves. It's one of the world's richest petroleum producing regions. One of the world's richest petroleum reserves is Lake Maracaibo. Hope copied. Moving the next geographical location. It appeared in the news because India has provided the aid to disaster hit Papua New Guinea. If you look into it, above the Australia, if you have an atlas, carry the atlas. Take the atlas, go to Australia, the Oceania continent, right? Above the Australia, northern part of Australia, you will be able to see an island. The eastern part of the island comes under the separate country called this Papua New Guinea, right? And the Papua New Guinea is the largest island in the group of Pacific Islands. Largest island group of Pacific Islands, which has been separated by Torres Strait from Australia. You will be able to see Australia here, right? Just below Papua New Guinea. The Papua New Guinea and Australia will be separated by Torres Strait, and towards its east further Solomon Sea, two important geographical locations. South we also have Coral Sea, or if you look into Australia map, the eastern side of Australia, where northeastern side to be specific, where we do have the Great Barrier Reef. Surrounding the Great Barrier Reef, you will have the Coral Sea regions. Under the Great Barrier Reef, you do have the Coral Reef regions. Moving to the next geographical location, which is Antarctic Treaty, right? Within this Antarctic Treaty, where the basics of Antarctic Treaty you do know well, a quick revision on it. Antarctic is considered to be no human's land, or no country can make a claim over the Antarctic regions. That has already been established by the Antarctic Treaty of late 1950s. One. Second, it has also been in news for the Mount Erebus. I'll just highlight with the red. This is the place where the Mount Erebus has been located. It is located on the Ross Island of Antarctica. It erupted, so it came in the news with respect to it, right? With respect to Antarctic Treaty and its discussion, we will see with respect to the geography, right? Moving further, in terms of international places in news, some of the international places in news is already been discussed. So other areas we will take into consideration. For example, if you have seen the last month, April recitals in depth world mapping, we discussed about Senchen area. We discussed about Great Rift Valley of Africa. These two places has already been covered largely there, right? So other areas we will be taking into consideration. The La Cumbre volcano is present. It erupted and it has been present in Galapagos Island, which is part of Peru. La Cumbre volcano erupted in Galapagos Island. It's a shield volcano. One. Second, Galapagos Island is known for rich richness in biodiversity, highly rich in biodiversity. Right? Moving to the next geographical location, Atacama Desert. Atacama Desert, the driest desert in the world. Atacama Desert, driest desert in the world. Argentina, Peru and Bolivia. Atacama Desert located in Argentina, Peru and Bolivia. It shares border with Argentina, Peru and Bolivia, the driest desert in the world. And there has been a mains question a couple of years before, why the tropical deserts are present in the 20 to 30 degree latitude on the western side of continent. This mapping exercise is not only for your prelim point of view, which will help you in the mains as well. Okay. Moving to further, Hoppen Island, which is present as a part of Norway region. Hoppen Island, which is present as a part of Norway region. It came in news because the first recorded incident of walrus which died due to bird flu appeared in the current affairs, which is part of Norway, Svalbard region of Norway. Copied. Moving further, Shenzhen and Great Rift Valley is covered in the last month. I request you to look into the continuation of your notes which you have taken in the last month. Taking with respect to the Darfur regions, the Darfur region has been present in the western part of North Sudan, Sudan country. It's a plateau, it's a slightly elevated plateau regions. In the past and even after the last year, it has been in news because of humanitarian crisis and violence. It has undergone humanitarian crisis and violence in the past decades as well. It is again resurfaced, Darfur, and it has been asked in preliminary couple of years before. The question that is asked in preliminary is, where is Darfur located? If you do know, Darfur is located in Sudan, bordering with respect to Chad, then that's more than sufficient with respect to it in terms of prelims point of view. Right? And moving on to South China Sea. See, the South China Sea, there has been a shoal, which is a coral reef ecosystem. The second shoal, the coral reef ecosystems, it has been in the territorial waters of Vietnam, but it has been claimed by China. You do know for well that South China Sea is being present in the southern part of China, which is bordered with countries like Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia, Brunei, Philippines, all these countries. And we also do know that United Nations Convention on Law of Sea will be available, which will designate territorial waters, exclusive economic zones, the right of each and every country to have territorial waters, exclusive economic zones. But China conflicts this particular idea through 9 dash line, which makes a claim over entire South China Sea. So it reappeared again with respect to it. The shoal we discussed is very close to Spratly Islands. If you have an atlas, if you take the atlas, you will be able to see Spratly Islands. Spratly Islands. And moving further, Indonesia. It appeared in the news because of there is an volcanic eruption that has happened. So if you look into last 1 year, there has been so many volcanic eruptions, so many big event of volcanic eruptions happened. Like the couple of days from prelims, if volcano based question comes, I won't be surprised as well, right? Or volcano on the country match the following comes also, I won't be surprised, right? Indonesia came in the news for volcanic eruptions. Going back with respect to Indonesia, we do have Java, Sumatra, Borneo and Sulawesi, 4 large important islands, Java, Sumatra, Borneo, Sulawesi and the part of Strait of Malacca, which is one of the important sea route, one of the important maritime route for trade that takes place. right? And one another is Mount Ruang, which is the one which we said in Indonesia, the volcano that erupted is Mount Ruang, where there has been an highest amount of alert is being given when the volcanic eruption took place. See, if you look into Indonesia, Malaysia, which appeared in the news, there is a high amount of natural disasters. Most importantly, volcanic eruption. That is because, as we do know well, there is a Pacific Ring of Fire. What is Pacific Ring of Fire? Even in the last month mapping exercise, world mapping exercise, we discussed about Great Rift Valley. While discussing about Great Rift Valley, we discussed about plates. So we discussed about 3 plates with analogy as well. The plates are divergent plates, convergent plates and transform plates as a quick revision. Whereas we do have convergent plate boundaries. When the convergent plates takes place with respect to it, there is a high amount of interaction that takes place between 2 plates, which creates, with respect to entire ring of fire, with respect to the regions of Asia, the borders of Pacific Ocean. The borders of Pacific Ocean in the land surfaces, where the oceanic plate being denser subducts under the land plate, and we do have high volcanics, high earthquakes, and also prone to high amount of tsunami. This is with respect to international places in news. Moving to the last topic for the day, which is major lakes in the world. The major lakes in the world will have Great Lakes. Great Lakes have 5 Great Lakes, which is present in the borders of United States of America and Canada. If you have an atlas, just flip to North America map, you will be able to see 5 lakes, 4 being shared between USA and Canada, 1 present only with respect to United States of America. The 5 lakes will go by a common easy keyword. Superman helps everyone. Super stands for Lake Superior, Man stands for Lake Michigan, Help stands for Lake Huron, Every stands for Lake Erie, 1 stands for Ontario. So 5 lakes you will be able to see in the atlas: Lake Superior, Lake Michigan, Lake Huron, Lake Erie and Lake Ontario. See, Superman helps everyone who follows the law. From the lake, you will also be able to see one connection, which I am trying to draw in the map, right, which is St. Lawrence Waterway. So, add the cheat code with respect to Superman helps everyone who follows the law. So, this one will be St. Lawrence Waterway. These 5 lakes are the most important lakes, one of the most important lakes in the world. Moving to the next one, where we'll start with respect to the other end. So we'll be able to discuss the Lake Ladoga, Lake Baikal. Lake Baikal is the deepest lake in Russia. Lake Baikal is the deepest lake in Russia. It is also the world's largest lake by volume. Largest lake by volume is present in Russia. Lake Baikal, deepest lake and largest lake by volume. The Lake Ladoga is the Lake Ladoga, shall I hope, is the second largest lake in Russia. Second largest lake in Russia and present completely with respect to the European continent. In European continent. Copied. Moving further, Aral Sea. Though it goes by the word Aral Sea, one of the most important lakes, 2 rivers flows into the lake. The rivers will be Amudarya and Sirdarya. 2 rivers, Amudarya and Sirdarya. Amudarya and Sirdarya. The Aral Sea is being shared by 2 countries, Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan, UK. Aral Sea is shared by 2 countries, Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan. 2 rivers, Amudarya and Sirdarya, as their mouth in Aral Sea. Moving to the next lake, which is Dead Sea, which is present between Israel, and Jordan, West Bank of Palestine. These are the areas where Dead Sea is being present. Dead Sea is also called a salt lake, which has the highest salinity with respect to it. In the last month mapping exercise also we discussed about Dead Sea, and we discussed that because the Jordan River flow into the Dead Sea is highly reduced, Dead Sea area has been shrinking, which we discussed in the last month world mapping exercise. If you have not checked the last month exercise, you can see that recitals in depth, April 2024, not just for world mapping exercise, for all the topics including geography, economics, international relations, IO, science and technology, everything, right? And moving further to the next lake, Lake Chad. The Lake Chad is being shared by 4 countries. The code is N2C2. N stands for Niger and Nigeria. C stands for Chad and Cameroon. So 4 countries. Lake Chad is being shared by 4 countries: Niger, Nigeria, N2, Chad and Cameroon, C2. Right? This lake has been drying since 1970s. I'm not speaking about today. The lake is largely drying from 1970s, and today more than 97% of the lake is being dried, and it creates a huge water crisis, not just for one country, all these 4 countries. It's huge, and that the lake, to add on to a layer of its degree of challenge and the problem, the Chad countries, Mali, Niger, Cameroon, except for Cameroon, the other countries have been present in Sahel region, or in other words, sub-Saharan Africa, which has been characterized by inconsistency in rainfall. What do you mean by inconsistency in rainfall? 1 year there will be a rainfall, number of years of drought, again few years rainfall, again number of years of drought. The geographical characteristics of the region, followed by the climate change and global warming, all has resulted with respect to reduction in the water level in Lake Chad. To add to another point, Chad major economic activity is fishing. See, Chad is not a country. This is Chad. Chad is not a country present with respect to coastal regions. It does not share border in the sea, right? Its major economic activity is fishing because of the inland fishing. When the lake dries, what is the source for inland fishing? The source for the inland fishing completely reduces. Moving on to the next 3 lakes, Lake Victoria. Lake Victoria is one of the largest lakes with respect to the world and most important lake in Africa. And Lake Victoria is a source of origin for Nile, White Nile, from which the Nile originates and moves towards the Mediterranean Sea regions, where its mouth is present in the Mediterranean. The second important point with respect to Lake Victoria is not a Rift Valley lake. In the last class also we discussed about Great Rift Valley and Rift Valley lakes. Lake Victoria is not a Rift Valley lakes. Moving further, the next 2 lakes is Lake Tanganyika and African Great Lakes. The last month video we discussed about African Rift Valley and African Rift Valley lakes, which includes Takana, Tanganyika, we said Albert, Edward, Kivu, Nyasa. Right? This is largely discussed in the last world mapping class for the month of April. And to add on to Lake Tanganyika is again shared by 4 countries, TC, BZ. T as in Tanzania, C as in Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo, B as in Burundi, Z as in Zambia. Lake Tanganyika is shared by 4 countries, Democratic Republic of Congo, Tanzania, Burundi and Zambia, TZ and BC, right? And African Rift Valleys, as we African Rift Valley and African Great Lakes. We already mentioned the lakes. We also discussed in the last class, which includes Albert, Edward and Kivu. We said that two siblings, Albert and Edward, were fighting for the fruit, Kivu. And Tanganyika we discussed in the last class. There is a Lake Malawi or Lake Nyasa, which is present in the same name as the country of Malawi. And another lake is Takana. All these lakes are present in the Rift Valley floor. So they are called as Rift Valley lakes. To again reinstate the fact, Lake Victoria is not a Rift Valley lake. Hope you enjoy the mapping classes. And one suggestion is you read the mapping classes with respect to your atlas, and also have the habit of reading newspapers. Whenever you come across the location, take them atlas and check it with respect to it. Thank you.